as we just learned, Joseph, you weren't listening to the program here, but Lester Holt, NBC News, just reporting that one of the attendees has deceased, has died from injuries as a result of the shooting. Joseph, you told me off camera that you may have witnessed this. I'm so sorry to be talking to you in this tragic moment, but can you describe what it is that you saw?
I was attending the rally. I was on the set of bleachers, very far left of the podium where Donald Trump was speaking, President Trump was speaking. I was there with friends. I heard several gunshots. The man beside me suffered a gunshot wound to the head, was instantly killed, fell to the bottom of the bleachers. Another woman looked like she got hit in the forearm or hand. And then at that point in time, it was rather chaotic at that point because half the people were looking because they thought it was fireworks. I knew it was gunshots right away. My friend, he hit the deck. I was kind of looking around just trying to see where the shots were coming from. It seemed to me like the shots were coming from behind the bleachers. It seemed to me the man got hit in the head from behind. He was killed instantly as far as I could tell. And at that point, state police and a SWAT team, started evacuating the bleachers, and then I helped carry the man out of the bleachers to a tent that was behind the bleachers.
You helped carry the man yourself. What was his condition when you were carrying him?
He's deceased. He died.
How close were you to him?
A couple yards. It wasn't very far.
Did you know the man?
No, as a police ranger. They put a towel over his head and then carried him off.
And you said there was another woman nearby who was also injured. Where was she in relation to him?
I believe she was in the bleachers, like either behind, above me, or just to the side of him. But it seemed like she was kind of at my flank, and then she flinched, and it looked like she had taken a gunshot wound to the forearm and hand.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard multiple gunshots, 8 to 11 shots. We've been hearing it replayed on the video here. Do you remember, can you tell, I know it was a chaotic scene, but...
What's going on? How y'all feel about what happened today?
Immediately when you heard the gunshots that he was shot, or was it later on into the firing?
The first 7, he was hit with...
Hit the poll. How you feel about what happened today?
I counted 7 shots.
What was going through your mind? You were right there. I know it happened so quickly, but what can you tell us about those moments?
First, I was in shock because I know what gunshots sound like, so I knew they were gunshots. I couldn't tell from where they were coming from. And when I noticed someone got hit, then I noticed, well, it seemed like they were coming from behind me, and it just was pandemonium. And then I heard some more shots. I couldn't quite tell where they were coming from, but I counted the first 7. They were very loud, very close, and it killed one man and wounded another woman.
And Joseph, you told me that you're a doctor, you're an OBGYN. How did
What's going on? How y'all feel about what happened today?
You were sort of able to assess the situation and know what happened to these individuals and know what was going on?
Well, I told the police when I tried to render assistance. I told the police I could render assistance. They had another physician on the EMT team, so they kind of took over. So they didn't really need me, so I kind of helped carry him down initially out of the bleachers. Yeah, I mean, there wasn't, the man that got hit, there was no assistance that needed to be given, and unfortunately his family
How you feel about what happened today?
It seemed like he had several family members in the bleacher with him, and they were...
Appreciate the vote. It's a scary sight when motherfuckers start doing shit like that. I'll let you know anybody can get touched.
What's going on, but the man was definitely instantaneously.
Could you tell us sort of how many family members or people who knew him were with him, and what was their reaction?
I thought there was 5 people there.
What do you think they're gonna say was the reason why this happened today?
You know, when we took the man out of the bleachers, he went to the tent.
Drop some commentary about how y'all feel what happened today.
They took the body, and they immediately evacuated the family with them, and the 2 out of the 5, it seemed like, you know, in shock, hysterical, like they're still trying to process what's going on.
Joseph, from where I was standing, we heard the shots. We saw the president go down.
Yeah, I saw President Trump get hit. Yeah.
Can you tell us what details you remember?
It seemed like his head was off to the side, and it seemed like he got nicked in the ear.
Was that before the Secret Service took him down to the ground, covered him?
I was watching a podcast earlier, maybe this month, and they were talking about this something that need to be watched out for if you on the red side. They say he should be looking out for this, and it's crazy that it just happened like that, cause that make you not even want to think about nothing else.
In those rounds that were fired, again, I was videoing the event, so that's when I saw Trump get hit. And it seemed to me like he was looking to the side and the round grazed his ear. So.
Could you tell the gentleman that was hit in the head what angle
Who we got in the chat? Who we got in the chat? Did you hit the poll already?
Which direction the bullets were coming from and to?
So it looked like he was facing the president at the very far left portion of the bleachers. So he's directly facing it. Again, it seemed to me like the shots were coming from the rear, like behind us. And for me, it seemed like the man was in the way. Like, you know, I guess.
In the way of the former president?
No, it seemed like the man was in the way of the shots between where we were shooting the gun, and the president. The man that was hit, it seemed like he was in the crossfire.
And I know you're in shock and still processing all of this. It's sort of hard to evaluate our own emotions in this moment, but you just experienced something horrific.
Yes.
What can you tell us about your state of mind right now?
What's the state of America right now with what happened today? How y'all feel? Drop something in the comments. Let me know how you feel about what happened today.
You know, everyone.
Hit the poll.
It's something you don't expect. It comes out of the blue. It's like pulled out of the blue, and it's shocking. You know, the way politics goes in this country, it just seems like it's really polarized. Everyone's just very angry. I'm honestly shocked this didn't happen earlier. I was commenting to my friend who went to the event with me. I was like, you know, the back behind the bleachers, it's really open. It seems like a really open venue, and it just, you know, I got this sense that, you know, if someone really wanted to do something, again, I was openly talking to her, and I was like, you know, if something was bad was going to be happening, this is the perfect venue to have. I just said this like an hour before it happened. I was like, this would be the perfect place to do it. And, you know, surprisingly enough, it happened.
A devastatingly prescient observation from you. Let me ask you one more question, because from where I was, there was confusion, then Trump stood up and there were some cheers, and then people sort of
bigger than black and white shit.
In sort of the immediate zone where you were.
How y'all feel about what happened today?
Still sort of cheering, talking, trying to figure out what was going on. How quickly did you know that whether or not there was still a dangerous situation? It seemed like people sort of started to try to move on.
I didn't hear that John Cena retiring. I'm talking about President Biden getting shot at, Jason.
Did you want to get out of there?
And they say this next year he gonna retire, so.
What did you witness in sort of the immediate aftermath once the shots stopped?
How you feel about the attempt on President Trump?
I think got a sense, like when I looked out into the crowd, everyone thought, I think the initial reaction, everyone thought it was a prank. I knew better it was a gunshot because I just saw a guy get hit. And it didn't.
For those of us that didn't see, some people started laughing, some people were confused. It wasn't immediately clear to the crowd that didn't witness what you witnessed, you know, that this was in fact a dangerous and deadly situation.
Oh, it was a dangerous and deadly situation. The problem is it's a large crowd, and when the gunshots went off, I think they were, again, my sense was they were being shot from behind, so they sounded a bit muffled. So it sounded more like a firecracker going off. So I think the initial reaction from the people around me were like, okay, well, someone brought fireworks. I just knew better. I know what gunshots sound like. And when I saw the guy took a gunshot wound to the head, and then I saw the woman who got hit in the forearm and the hand, I just knew that wasn't fireworks. I mean, it wasn't fireworks initially, but I
woke
think the
up,
majority
this
of
what
the
I
crowd didn't
saw.
understand that it was gunfire. And
How y'all feel about
I
it?
think
Tell me
people
what you
took
got
it
going
really
in the
seriously
comments.
when
Jace, how you feel
kids
about
started jumping over the rails.
John Cena
So
retiring? It look crazy how that situation happening now. It just created a beast. When you miss doing some shit like that, it make it to where whatever come back is what it's coming back to. So
headline after headline. All I'm seeing down my timeline. I check on Google, check the AI, check everywhere, and it seems to confirm. Seems to be different stories. First started off as a noise, then they're saying that they're shots, and then some people are even utilizing a word, assassination. I started to do some research immediately. This happened in Pennsylvania at the Donald Trump rally. Immediately, people are calling it staged. Some people believe that he staged this himself for a political gain. Now, it's very interesting that somebody will call it staged for multiple reasons. Because it doesn't matter if it's real or staged. People who believe it will call it staged. While there's other people like Robert F. Kennedy, everybody should pray for Donald Trump. There's all his political opponents who, at this particular have to send sympathy towards his campaign because that is the American way to do things, especially when there's violence that enters the chat. As I'm looking at what's going on, and I'm having this conversation also on my YouTube, the shirt says "Asset to the Revolution." What's going on right now is very dangerous, and I want to read some stats to you all so you can understand what's happening. I was looking up different presidents. He's not the first president that had an assassination attempt, right? All the way from Andrew Johnson to Abraham Lincoln to James A. Garfield to William McKinley, Theodore Roosevelt, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Harry S. Truman, John F. Kennedy was assassinated, Richard Nixon, Gerald Ford, Jimmy Carter, Ronald Reagan, George Bush, Bill Clinton, George W. Bush. Seems like a lot of Republican presidents. First of all, but this country is in a sad state. Just the other day, people were laughing at Biden because Biden, if you remember his running mate, he's talking to President Zelensky, and he's forgetting Zelensky's name and calling him by his enemy's name on stage, calling him poor. So you have one president that's senile, one that is waiting to be arraigned or wait for sentencing.
And when really you can save them both if you implement the motherfucking procedures from both parties. And I'm out on that one right now. See what I'm saying? That's how they get you right there. All right, see y'all.
Thank you. Hey, see y'all, brothers. I appreciate this shit.
Much love to the people. I'll see y'all on the next one. Thank you, everybody that support the Flat Power. Hey, I gotta get every shot out of here.
So apparently there is a cave that looks like a literal giant. I know, right? But we are hiking it, so come on. I didn't anticipate that there would be no service. Just girly things, winging it.
You know, I think it's song we can sing Welcome to the Jungle.
My friend brought me these Asian veggies.
Yo, bro, so I'm chilling outside right now. Bro, this sunset about to play.
Oh, we got in the live right now. Where you from? Yeah, I heard about it. They created a beast. How you feel about it, RL? Oh, I hope it doesn't happen again. See, if it happened again, there's gonna be a war in America. So I'll pray that it don't happen again. People that like that man, they already finna go crazy because it happened this, because this happened. So anything more, it's gonna be a WAR. Donald Trump. Donald John, that's who I'm going for. What about yourself? I'm going Donald Trump though. Did you hit the poll, Arnell?
Reporting on BBC News for the last couple of hours. They say the shooter,
Why do this man look like
who
this?
was on an elevated position outside the farm show ground where the rally was taking place. That tallies with what our eyewitnesses
What's
have been
wrong
telling
with
us.
Buddy?
They say that the two people are dead. One is the shooter, one is someone who was inside the crowd, and two other people are now critically injured and presumably
Why
in
his
hospital.
face look like that?
President Trump has also said that he was hit by a bullet. He says it tore through the skin of the upper part of his right ear. And if you just think about that for a moment, that means it is inches, I mean, an inch away from going in his head. So that is how close the former president came this evening to getting a bullet in the head. So this is incredibly shocking developments, incredibly shocking news here on the ground. President Trump has also extended his condolences to those people who have been injured and died. He's also thanked law enforcement for their rapid action, and you can see from the video.
If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened. If you want to really see something that's said, take a look at what happened.
It's gonna be an iconic picture right here.
We can see that the bullet grazed his right side of the head and looks like the tip of his ear was hit. Obviously, this means that the shooter was going for a headshot, but what's more interesting is if we look at this footage in slow motion, you can see Trump turning his head to the right side in the last moment before he gets hit. I think that this move potentially saved his life, or at least he avoided some serious injury. That's my take. But what do you guys think?
I know, that's how unfazed he is. That's that New York in him. He like, fuck all the bullshit. Who shot me? Did y'all get him? Let me get my J's, man. Let me get my Trump 3000s. Let me put these Trump 3000s on and then let's get up out this motherfucker. I was just looking at it like, this like a What's the movie? Ooh. What that shit called? Mockingbird. Mockingjay. What that shit called? What that movie called where they go? It's the Mockingjay. What that movie called? But it was just crazy. Oh, and this game, not Game of Thrones. I don't know what it's called right now, but this shit was just crazy. Hunger Games. That's what it's called. Hunger Games.
You can see the guy down. I think they hit him because the guy looks dead.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
James, why do that matter? I'm talking about this up here. What's going on, Victoria? That's all right. I'm gonna show you how to have a conversation. Even though we can't have one because you can't talk back, but that ain't how you start a conversation. Shit, you say some shit like, "Hey, what we doing on the stream today? What you got going?" And I say some shit like, "Shit, I'm watching the highlights of what happened in Pennsylvania today. How you feel about it?" But that shit right there is just wild. Yeah, I just did my hair today. How long you was locked up?
They see something that said, take a look what happened.
Two months out in Cleveland. What you do? Have some speeding tickets? You ain't braid your hair too many times, then.
They see something that said, take a look what happened.
This shit look like some Hunger Games or some shit to me.
They see something that said, take a look what happened.
James, when you gonna make some videos?
Really anything. I don't have specifics on what they were looking at, but you know, there's people in the crowd will leave bags as they're fleeing the scene like this. So any suspicious packages we have to treat as it may be an explosive device. So it was immediate, and it was. We're still trying to figure that out. So we'll wait till we have more definitive information regarding that investigative. My understanding was it was from the shooter, but again, those will be details that are released later. So if that's where the leads take us, absolutely. I don't have that specific information as far as the injuries to the former president. again, the information that we currently have, we're looking at that obviously very intently, and as we know that information, we'll release that as well. So we'll need to plan another time for a follow-up press conference. We're looking at all investigative leads and all everything from, and that's why we asked the public, because I'm sure there'll be cell phone video, there'll be all kinds of information that we'll use to fully flesh out exactly what happened.
I know you're saying you can't say what type of gun it is. You can't say what type of gun it is. Do you know how many shots were fired?
I don't.
And
I don't have that information as far as that'll come out in the investigation as well.
Is there an identification tonight on the other?
As far as the civilians,
The civilians that were injured in the
yeah.
So we do have identification on those. We're not prepared to release it at this time. We have notified a number of family members, but
What's up, Victoria? What's good? How your day? How your day was? Yeah, me too. I ain't got too much going. I had just got done doing my.
I would confirm for you that we did have one individual killed and another, somebody said about 2 victims. There were 3 in total besides the former president. So 2 critically wounded, 1 killed.
At this point, you know they were sitting near each other, and where the relationship with the president?
I don't have their exact seating by individual. Again, that'll all be part of the investigation, but their shots were scattered somewhat, and so they weren't just into one particular location.
you're saying one fatality?
Yes. The shooter plus 1 victim. So there was 1 victim of the shooter who was killed, and then the shooter was killed. Yes. I've heard those reports as well, and again, we do have a good idea of what the weapon was, but again, that's all part of the ongoing investigation. And I'm not trying to be cagey about that. You know, when the SAC talked about the need to be very methodical and to be cautious with that scene, we are doing just that. We don't want anybody else getting hurt, and candidly, there are some concerns that we'll be able to talk more about later on, about just what those concerns are and continue to be. That's all part of the investigation. That's certainly a concern, and you know, we're monitoring that whole situation. I mentioned that, you know, we're bringing a lot of assets to bear, and so like the FBI utilizing their analysts, we also have the Pennsylvania Criminal Intelligence Center. We will utilize the resources of our intelligence division and the Criminal Intelligence Center to be able to monitor for concerns about any threats, regardless of the side of the issue or the political spectrum. We want to make sure that we try and avoid any further violence. No, sir. They were adults, and they're male. Yes.
How difficult it is with all the departments of talking
I just don't understand how he got up on top of a building.
We have
without
trained
being
investigators
shot.
and we're partnered hand in hand with the FBI, again, because we've got some federal violations, some state violations. And so our investigators are going out methodically. We have a large team of investigators that are going out, dividing up these interviews and trying to conduct them as quickly as possible. And then there'll be follow-ups. You know, with the FBI asking for people to call in tips, I have no doubt that we will receive a lot of additional information that will also require follow-up. But again, we're working very well together, and it's only a short matter of time until we get through all of those interviews.
From your experience, how close a call was it for President Trump?
There were no police hit with bullets.
From your experience, how close a call was it for?
I'm not going to speculate or comment on.
Have any of you talked to the president? Did any of you have any kind of reaction?
No.
Which law enforcement agencies were security
Well, Secret Service always has the lead on securing something. And again, as I mentioned earlier, we are absolutely not taking for granted that this was a lone wolf attack. And so we would be looking for any additional information that might point us toward anybody else that may have had a hand in this.
Sir, at this point, what is the main focus of the investigation? What's the most important thing for you right now?
Brian, was good, big
well,
bro.
there's not any one single focus. I mean, certainly the immediate focus was life safety, getting the former president out of there, and to care, getting care to the other victims, and trying to secure the scene as quickly as possible. It shifted then from a life safety priority to then an investigative priority. And so I guess if I had to point to where we are right now, the single greatest priority would be to identify a motive and whether there was anyone else involved.
We're just beginning the political season. Are you guys concerned with all of these rallies that happen and how they're set up? Is this going to change maybe the venues?
Again, I would refer you to the Secret Service in terms of what they work out with the campaigns. We will continue to supply resources, as I'm sure the FBI will, and local partners as well.
When this was announced, there was quite a few days a heads up that people hit running from the Trump rally. From a law enforcement perspective, when you announce a big event like this, all that time in advance, like a week out, does it give people more time to plan something like this?
I suppose, but there's a balance, I would think, that any of the campaigns on either side try to weigh. I mean, the point of them announcing it, I suspect, is because they want the crowd, and so it's not up to us in law enforcement to tell them when they should announce or how they should announce or how they should conduct it. We offer our best advice. Again, working hand in hand with the Secret Service, offer our best advice of how best to secure and protect that venue.
Sir, considering how many people were there, and you have packed in there, and you have somebody at an elevated position with potentially a high-powered rifle, how lucky is it that we're only talking about a couple of victims, as sad and tragic as that is?
Well, we're certainly grateful that we don't have even more victims. And again, in terms of how this could have occurred, that will be part of this after-action report and an investigation that occurs so that we can hopefully ensure that something like this doesn't happen again.
Has an autopsy been conducted yet, or is it scheduled?
So how y'all feel about what happened today? Brandon, what you got going today? Hit the pole, drop a light.
I do not.
If somebody has some video of the photo, what should they send? So we have the 1-800 call FBI, we have audio tips, and then we set up a specific tip line for audio and video, and that's fbi.gov/Butler. And they should send just like any video? Anything that anyone has that is related to this incident, that they think may be of assistance investigatively, we'll take anything and we'll analyze it and we'll make the determination if it's for investigative value. Go ahead.
So from what you've been briefed on, it sounds like law enforcement only needed to up there until shots were fired. Is that what you're hearing?
So that is the assessment this time.
So are you surprised that a sniper was able to fire off a handful of shots at the former president? I mean,
again, we're still working through the where the location should be, and they're the ones who are in charge of securing the scene. We, along with other state and local assets, are there to support the Secret Service and their mission.
how many troopers and agents were at the rally before the shooting, and how is that number determined, and should perhaps there have been more?
So I don't have the specific numbers. I doubt you do as well.
No, I can speak just for PSP. We had physically on site there probably 30 to 40 members of PSP, but we also have additional resources in the area. We utilize aviation, for example, and a variety of other resources, dogs to sweep beforehand that really aren't counted in that.
I know somebody told me about it earlier.
What the request is from the Secret Service. You know, just in their defense, I mean, what I would want to say is it is incredibly difficult to have a venue open to the public and to secure that against any possible threat, against a very determined attacker. That's a huge lift to try and do it. And, you know, again, the investigation will really give us an opportunity to take a look at where any failures
open it up
and what can be done better in the future.
Do you know when another briefing might be held?
We don't have one scheduled, but I would tell you we will let you know. I'll give you plenty of notice. Certainly, as soon as additional things develop that would be noteworthy or of interest to you, we'll get that scheduled and have enough with you.
Locally, what can residents, businesses expect to happen with the investigation over the next couple of days? What's going to be going on there?
Well, again, the interviews will all be occurring, and so they may see law enforcement in their communities. People came from a wide area to come to this rally, I'm told. So, you know, there's going to be law enforcement fanning out, and as additional calls, photos, videos come in, you know, those additional interviews will result in law enforcement being out in the community conducting those interviews. But otherwise, they really shouldn't see any other significant impact in the community.
Can you confirm whether it's a male or female?
Looking at the white base.
Turn this way, be careful.
How could this happen? What's going on in America? I know that is a philosophical question. How could the States about what happened here?
Well, again, what I would say is a tragic incident that occurred.
What y'all got going? Drop a like when y'all come in the building. I'm watching the commentary about the event at the rally today.
We'll just take one last question.
Oh, this nigga starting right off type shit. He like right here. I think this is done. Oh, okay, you heard those shots from him. Oh, that's when they turned that nigga into a attack. Yeah, he did. God damn. Anyway, this last one, I'm about to get off, man. I've been on this for like 10 hours. I'm about to get off.
Was there an additional request for additional security from the Trump team, and was that denied in any way, shape, or form?
No, there was no.
So after 7 years?
Well, that seems like it's a lot going on today. How y'all feel about what happened? In the chat, how y'all feel? I'm so bored. Shit, me too. I got online to talk to y'all, because it ain't nobody else to talk to. Got online just to talk to y'all, because I know y'all will say something in the chat, so as long as y'all talking, I'm going to be live.
People there when this all unfolded. The former president has come out.
CBS 2 News at 11.
Breaking news tonight, shots fired at a Trump rally. The former president bleeding and rushed off the stage.
We watched him go down and hit the ground, and everybody was screaming.
A witness saying he saw the shooter on a roof.
Seeing a guy on top of one of the buildings.
Tonight, Trump is safe and out of the hospital, and the attack is being investigated as an attempted assassination. Good evening, I'm Jessica Moore.
And I'm Maurice Dubois. Today's events nothing short of historic, sending shockwaves throughout America.
Here's what we know right now. Someone fired multiple shots during a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, just outside of Pittsburgh.
Former President Trump saying tonight he was shot in the ear. We want to be clear, this has not yet been confirmed. The Secret Service says the shooter is dead. A rally attendee was also killed. 2 others critically hurt. And we have learned President Biden has spoken with former President Trump. We have team coverage for you tonight, beginning with CBS 2's Lauren Linder in Butler.
Take a look at what happened.
Secret Service agents rushed former President Donald Trump off stage after shots were fired, moments after he began speaking at a Saturday evening rally in Butler County, Pennsylvania. The Secret Service says a man attending the rally was killed. A doctor standing nearby tried to help him, performing CPR.
The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here.
Trump raised his fist as he left the stage. On his Truth Social site, the former president said he was shot by a bullet that pierced the upper part of his right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong and that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin, he wrote. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening.
I just hear these 4 shots, and everybody's screaming drop, and you can see the blood splatter on his face, and the Secret Service just barricades him.
Victoria,
the Secret Service says the gunman was outside the cordoned-off area of the rally, standing on an elevated structure, and that he was shot and killed by a member of the agency's counter-assault team. A large number of Secret Service agents is in Milwaukee right now ahead of the convention. They're trying to piece together what happened here in Butler. President Biden spoke a couple hours after the shooting.
There's no place in America for this kind of violence. It's sick. It's sick. It's one of the reasons why we have to unite this country. We cannot allow for this to be happening. We cannot be like this. We cannot condone this.
This was Trump's last rally ahead of next week's Republican convention in Milwaukee. He was taken away in a motorcade and again held up his fist as he got into his SUV.
That was Lauren Linder reporting. A man in the crowd told one of our reporters in Pennsylvania that he saw the suspected shooter on top of a building.
And that witness said he alerted police moments before the shots rang out.
Trump started, I noticed two officers that were looking for something or somebody. I was looking around myself and seeing a guy on top of one of the buildings go in between one building to the next, and went and told the officer that he was up there.
That witness said by the time he returned to his spot, the shooting had begun. He was not hurt.
CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland was on the ground in Butler when the shooting started.
He joins us now from the rally location where it's nighttime there, and with what he saw and heard today, Scott, good evening to you. I heard you say earlier on the air tonight that you can't unhear it, you can't unsee it. Must have been an incredible sequence of events for you.
Maurice, what a monumental, unequivocal failure of historic proportions that thousands of people came to what should have been the safest event in town. Secret Service protection, everybody went through a magnetometer. There were people with paramilitary gear. For this to happen at a place where people brought their kids, brought their families, is unthinkable. I was on the rafters, right near the cameras, when the gunshots started, and it sounded to many of us like firecrackers. Bullets in person don't always sound like they do in the movies. And when we hit the ground looking for cover, it was also unmistakable to me, Maurice, that a lot of the people in the crowd couldn't find cover. It was jammed in like a rock concert. Only some of them had chairs, and you could hear the screams of some of the people in the rally, distraught at what they were seeing. I think it helped stabilize people when the former president jumped up and pumped his fist triumphantly, but they evacuated the entirety of this rally within about 10 minutes. We're in a parking lot a few football fields away. All our stuff is behind as investigators launch what is going to be an unprecedented criminal investigation in America.
And Scott, I wanted to ask you about the immediate aftermath of the shooting. We heard some hateful rhetoric sort of pointed at you and the other journalists there. What was that experience like?
A small minority of the crowd started cursing at us, blaming the media, saying this is your fault for inciting this. There were some bike rack barriers separating the media risers from the crowd. I think when Donald Trump jumped up triumphantly, it helped level some of that off. But I've been adding an anecdote throughout this night, Jessica, that a few of the folks who were taunting us, as often happens at Trump rallies early in the day, came to check on us. This was a tragically unifying experience for everybody here.
That it is. Okay. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott McFarland. Thanks, Scott. Take care of yourself. We really appreciate your reporting tonight.
Donald Trump's children are reacting tonight on social media. Ivanka Trump posted on X, "Thank you for your love and prayers for my father and for the other victims of today's senseless violence. I continue to pray for our country. I love you, Dad, today and always."
And the former president's son, Don Jr., sharing this photo with the caption, "He'll never stop fighting to save America." Shocked and stunned are just some of the words used by the political establishment to describe the attack on former President Trump.
CBS 2 political reporter Marcia Kramer is here now with more on their reaction. Marcia.
Well, Jessica and Maurice, Donald Trump may have moved to Florida, but he was born and raised here and built his business empire here. So he will always be a New Yorker to many. The horror of the events in Pennsylvania bringing local Republicans and Democrats together to decry the violence and pray for the former president.
There's a lot of animosity in this campaign.
New York Republican Party Chairman Ed Cox had only been in Milwaukee for a few hours, barely had time to get settled for his party's nominating convention when he got word about the attempt on Donald Trump's life, telling me it hit home in a very personal way. He is the son-in-law of Richard Nixon.
It is something that is on the back of your mind, that this can always happen.
I'm just looking at this photo. You can see the bullet whizzing out behind Trump's head. This was an assassination attempt, plain and simple. And American elections should be determined by voters, not violence. And what we saw today is really...
Yeah, I saw that too. He said he getting too old to be jumping off ropes and falling on the ground like that. He giving it up. Full-time actor, I guess. It's the dude that shot Trump and killed the other people.
I'm ugly, but after this trick, I got a 9-inch toy that makes me go out with 3 different women every week. The trick is...
Coast, 9:30 p.m. as I report to you. Another bad day for America. And there's nothing else you can say about it. This is a situation that has happened before in our history. Everybody knows that. Very similar, by the way, to what happened to Teddy Roosevelt in 1912 when he was giving a speech and somebody walked up and shot him in the chest. The speech paperwork was inside his jacket, saved his life. And Teddy went on and completed
What y'all got going in the chat? What y'all got going on today?
Of madness that we are experiencing now, more than 100 years later. And it's never going to stop. So when you hear people in the subsequent days say, oh, this or that, or rifle this,
going to
or
church
gun
tomorrow?
that, it's never going to stop. Haters are
Victoria, you
they'll
going
find
to
a way
church
to
tomorrow?
commit
Who in the
violence.
chat?
And the government can't control it. And that's the truth. Now, the logistics of it all, as we are in airtime, it's the would-be assassin has been shot to death by the Secret Service. He was outside the perimeter of the rally. He was on a building. And apparently some people saw him climb up to the top of that building with a rifle and tried to get the attention of police, but were unsuccessful. That will all be investigated in subsequent days, as will who the guy was and whether he had any help. And it'll be fascinating to find out who the would-be assassin actually was and if there was anyone else involved. Secret Service did what it could do. I do believe that there's going to be scrutiny on the service. We're not making sure that the buildings surrounding the site were clean. But again, that's not vital tonight. All of those things will reveal themselves. What is important is the reaction of Donald Trump, President Biden, President Obama, and the American people. We'll start with Mr. Trump. And you saw it, the blood on his ear, a couple of inches from death, headshot. He said from the hospital on Truth Social, quote, I want to thank the United States Secret Service and all law enforcement for their rapid response on the shooting that just took place in Butler, Pennsylvania. Most importantly, I want to extend my condolences to the family of the person at the rally who was killed, and also to the family of another person that was badly injured. It's incredible that such an act can take place in our country. Nothing is known at this time about the shooter, who is now dead. I was shot with a bullet that pierced the upper part of my right ear. I knew immediately that something was wrong in that I heard a whizzing sound, shots, and immediately felt the bullet ripping through the skin. Much bleeding took place, so I realized then what was happening. God bless America. A factual statement. All right, no rancor. I believe that Donald Trump, as anybody would be, is angry and very, very sad. And there may be another wounded civilian as well. I'm trying to get the details on that. So the first one to react on the Democratic side was former President Obama. He beat President Biden to the punch, as they say, in a cliche. So Biden went on TV and he issued a statement that, was okay. Nothing wrong with it at all. But he should have get his ear stitched up or whatever. But Obama reiterated, Biden reiterated twice that he wants to talk to Donald Trump, and I hope that happens. All Americans should hope that happens. The two men talk in a civil way and say, look, let's stop all the rancor, let's just run on our records and our vision and stop this. Now, in times like these, Americans, and I mean, I can't tell you how many emails and texts I get from family and friends and from everybody. It's always the same theme that everybody's just sad.
We got in the
angry.
chat. We got in the live.
But
we
sad.
got in the live.
There are people who are angry, and I understand both of them.
Y'all want to play some music? What y'all trying to hear?
That's not Biden. That's not the guy I remember. And I mean this. I never agreed with him, but I'm a shallow person. So is he. So I always kind of liked him. You know, Irish guys who were from around.
What's good? What y'all got going on in the live? I'm taking requests. Drop a comment, drop a like. I'm playing your song. What's good? What's good? What's good?
Reaction to this afternoon's shocking violence against a presidential candidate just 4 months from the start of the Republican National Convention. Fox 31's Nate Bell joins us now with that new perspective tonight. Nate?
Yeah, Erica talked earlier this afternoon with a couple different men. First with John Fabricatore. He's a former ICE agent and a Republican candidate for Colorado Congressional District 6, as well as Democrat analyst Andy Boyan. Both men condemn the incident and say changes to security are likely coming. With a background in law enforcement, John Fabricatore says he believes the immediate reaction by Secret Service was appropriate.
I think the Secret Service did a great job. They jumped right into action. They were right out on the stage right away, covering President Trump up with their bodies.
And says a large-scale investigation is coming, including a look at what they may have missed.
Our intelligence aperture is huge. Has this person been saying things online? Did they miss that? Had they identified this person? Did they know that this person could be potentially a threat, and he still made it into the crowd?
Andy Boyan agrees and says the former president and all of the politicians heading to next week's Republican National Convention will have extra sets of eyes on them.
They can say that they're going to add some Secret Service protection to the former president.
Both men agree that the incident is something that should never happen in our country.
It's abhorrent. I think it's cowardly. I know I am, as well as all that are working on both the political campaigns, are glad that Donald Trump is safe.
It's okay to disagree over certain policies and laws that we have, but to get to this point where you hate somebody so much you're willing to take their life so that they cannot assume office, we should not be at that in the United States of America. That's not who we are.
And hope it's a wake-up call for everyone to take a step back from the intensity of this campaign.
I think it's a good opportunity for us to...
Boyan, both men condemn the incident and say changes to security are likely coming.
Y'all go check out my videos. I made some videos in the last couple of days. Y'all go put some likes on my videos.
Reaction by Secret Service was appropriate.
I think the Secret Service did a great job. They jumped right into action. They were right out on the stage right away, covering President Trump up with their bodies.
And says a large-scale investigation is coming, including a look at what they may have missed.
Our intelligence aperture is huge. Has this person been saying things online? Did they miss that? Had they identified this person? Did they know that this person could be potentially a threat, and he still made it into the crowd?
Andy Boyan agrees and says the former president and all of the politicians heading to next week's Republican National Convention will have extra sets of eyes on them.
I can say that they're going to add some Secret Service protection to the former president.
The year 2024 is shaping up to be a historic year for global politics. In an unprecedented wave of Democratic activity, more voters than ever before will head to the polls. At least 64 countries, along with the European Union, representing a combined population of about 49% of the world's people, are set to hold national elections. These elections are consequential, with results that will ripple across nations and influence the global stage for years to come. In the United Kingdom, the recent election saw a landslide victory for the Labour Party, defeating the Conservatives in a dramatic shift that signals a new direction for British politics, leading to a new Prime Minister, Keir Starmer. This victory is seen as a significant moment in British history, potentially altering the country's domestic and international policies. Across the Channel, the French legislative elections held on June 30th and July 7th, 2024, showcased a volatile political landscape. Marine Le Pen's national rally, RN Party, secured 33% of the vote in the first round, outpacing both a left-wing coalition with 28% and President Emmanuel Macron's centrists, who managed only 22%. However, the final results took an unexpected turn. The left-wing New Popular Front, led by Jean-Luc Mélenchon, won the most seats, while Macron's Ensemble Alliance made a surprising comeback, pushing RN into third place. Strategic withdrawals by centrist and left-wing candidates prevented RN from winning a majority, leading to a hung parliament and necessitating a coalition government. These global shifts highlight a period of significant political activity and transformation.
You guys already know that I've loved my Narwhal Freo for years now. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I got my hands on the new Narwhal Freo Ultra. This thing has so many new
Donald Trump has left the hospital that he had initially been taken to, Butler Memorial Hospital in Pennsylvania. And our CBS reporters are saying that it's not clear where he is headed next. I'm sure they don't want to detail a lot of his movements at this hour for understandable security reasons, but that he had been planning to go back to his home in New Jersey and then on to Milwaukee for this massive political event that will be gripping all of us throughout the week, the Republican National Convention. Our CBS News reporter Nicole Skenga is on the phone. Nicole, I know you, along with so many of our colleagues, are just trying to get hold of anyone with insight into what is happening with the investigation at this hour. Have you learned anything?
Yes, Margaret, the suspect was using an AR-15 style rifle, shooting from about 200 to 300 feet away, according to multiple federal law enforcement officials. Multiple rounds were fired. We're still working to confirm an exact number, but that weapon explains the sporadic nature of the bullet spray. AR-15 style weapons are not known for their accuracy. We know the suspect was on a shed and elevated platform outside of the Secret Service perimeter. Secret Service also confirming that. Right now, law enforcement still trying to determine whether or not it was debris from the teleprompter, from the protective glass surrounding the former president. But there is, of course, evidence he was cut in the face, lacerations to his ear. Not much known about the suspect at this time. Investigators working to confirm that he was working alone. Working to confirm his biographic information. As Sam mentioned earlier, a male suspect. They're still gathering more. He mentioned the former president has left the hospital right now. Secret Service has already added more manpower to his detail, bolstering the security footprint to him and all other U.S. Secret Service protectees. That means not just the former president, but his family, the president, the vice president, White House officials. As a standard operating procedure, right now, Secret Service also leading efforts to expand the perimeter of the Republican.
When I discovered
moving guardrails around the convention space, creating a larger buffer zone around the events of next week.
And we know, Nicole, that the Trump campaign has issued a statement saying they will go on and proceed with the Republican convention. No change, not dissuading the 45th president from going to seek and to go to that rally, to the convention that gets underway in Milwaukee. Nicole, what do you know about what happens now to analyze the bullets and the weapons and to trace them to whomever the shooter is? Do we have any indication at this hour anything about the intent of the shooter or the motivations of the shooter?
Investigators are working right now, Margaret, to try to get a better sense of whether or not the suspect had any prior criminal history, whether or not there was any known motivation, if he was working with other individuals.
I wouldn't even be doing this. I'd be in some beautiful place with a gorgeous ocean, the Mediterranean, the Atlantic, maybe the Pacific. Thank you. Thank you. Instead, I'm here with you fighting like hell to get a senator elected and to make sure we take back the White House, because if we do, we're going to make America better than ever before. We're going to make it. And it's not easy, because we have millions and millions of people in our country that shouldn't be here. Dangerous people. Criminals. We have criminals. We have drug dealers. We have people that should not be here. And it's much tougher than it happened here. You know, we have the strongest border ever. In recorded history, we have the best border. In fact, if they could ever put up a chart, I don't know if they can do it. You guys have access to that chart that I love so much. You don't mind if I go off teleprompter, do you? Because these teleprompters are so damn boring, I try and explain them. Oh, there's a, wow. You guys are doing it. They're getting better with time. My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow, right? So that's when I left office. That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old, and if you want to really see something to say, take a look what happened.
got in the chat? Who we got in the live? Drop it in the chat. What's good? What's good? Who we got in the chat? Who we got in the live? Drop your name in the chat. What's up? And everybody that drop a comment. You already sub, drop a like for me.
One of the greatest crimes is what they've done over 4 years in hiding what the obvious facts are, isn't it? Isn't it a shame? You run for the President of the United States from a basement, All
Make sure, cause I ain't wasting nothing. Cause I'm coming out like a marksman. I'm a Marine, one shot, one kill, and I'm willing to roll. You got a whole heap of damn shit, you and your people. You see me and my people, when we come through here, we standing tall, and we soldiers. We activated, we trained, we highly skilled with these, you hear me? So, we ain't got no problems. So, if you got them that you got, 3, 4, 5, 6,000, yeah. It ain't number 4, 3 y'all, then when we come through yeah, we can make it, and we gotta form a line, we gotta form an alliance. Goddamn right. Boy, we finna form a team right now. Yeah, I need every goddamn American in here. Y'all get in here. When you get here, you stumble on like buttons. We finna form a coalition. It's gonna be a coalition of us. It's an American group. And what we gonna do is, no matter what happened in this country, we got to make sure that the people of this country remain victorious. You hear me? Up against the darkness, the spiritual wickedness in high places, y'all. And it's coming down now to attack. It's coming down for the kill. It's like a hawk, y'all. It's like it's like an eagle in the sky. When it slide down, it slide down and tear your drawers off your, Mr. Beast, where Mr. Beast at? Because Mr. Beast up in here. Is that Mr. Beast? Hey, Mr. Beast, hell no. What, hey, Mr. Beast, last time you came in here, hey, somebody check Mr. Beast's channel. Where my moderators at? Somebody tell me if that's Mr. Beast. Because you know what, Mr. Beast, if that's you, you got a keen way of finding a little bitty nigga channel for you to be channel activity new. Okay, this ain't the real Mr. Beast. No, you got 0 followers, you got 0 subs. No, the real Mr. Beast came in at one point, and me and him, we chopped it up and shit, but I was talking about the heathen, but, he might not like it. This ain't the Mr. Beast channel. If Mr. Beast gets here, and what he could do when he get here is pay attention and be under me. And Mr. Beast want to keep his rights and his freedoms and his proceeds, he's gonna have to, because it ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna be able to do it. God damn it! They didn't brought.
Senator-elect.
Put the money.
Salute to Sage of 12, brother in the super chat, dropping that good. On your boy Blue. What you do? He said, what do you think about Shakur Stevenson saying what he, I feel the same way. I feel the exact same way. That's why I am. Come on. Mr. Lopez, what's up? Ray Spacer, what's up? That look as strange as it can. Full circle. Quadruple O, what's up, baby? Jesse R, what's up? I mean, he just looked, it ain't his timing. It wasn't his timing. I heard people saying that it was his timing was all he was rusty. No, he wasn't. It wasn't his timing. It wasn't rust. He just didn't care. He didn't respect David Avenesian, his power, or nothing. Simple. He didn't respect nothing about David Avenesian at all whatsoever. Just plain and simple. So it looks like Mario Barrios and Manny Pacquiao are gonna fight. I think Mario Barrios gonna win that fight unless something unforeseen happens. That I just
take the right, take the left. I challenge anybody from the LA area to come over here, and see what's cracking. All right, brother. Much love, bro. All right, then.
Shot by Bush's best friend. Right, who raised a fist after you heard? I ain't know he got shot. I swear I did. I went on Twitter and Kendrick Perkins popped up. God tell you, don't get timed out. Nobody's talking about it. Yeah, it would have been crazy, but I just, nah. Who was this guy? I mean, this just random white nerdy looking guy can just get to the president. Kendrick Perkins said, so Trump gets shot, puts up a power fist, and then walks off. Good night, America. That's what he said.
if the picture is who they showed, this little fuzzy hairy bastard, I don't know. This shit smell hanky.